The federal and state government in Nigeria have been advised to stop paying lip service to education sector, but rather focus on policy direction that will reposition the sector. Not only that, Nigerians expect policies and programs that will make the country's educational sector a force to reckon with in Africa and beyond. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
The primary aim of education goes beyond literacy. Education aims to provide individuals with knowledge, skills and values necessary to lead productive, fulfilling lives and contribute positively to the society. Therefore, the need for education cannot be overemphasized. It is imperative that education should be open to everyone at all bases, regardless of their gender, social class, ethnicity, and race. The state of education in Nigeria has been a major concern for decades. Nigeria, as a third world country, despite being the most populous country in Africa and having the largest economy, has one of the lowest literacy rates in the world, with only 59% of the adult population able to read and write.
Their achievements in basic education were celebrated. There are, nevertheless, other daunting challenges that should draw our urgent attention. One of these is the challenge of learning poverty at basic education level. Studies have shown that learners are graduating from primary school unable to read and write.
Mopping up of out-of-school children is a great priority of this administration. And as such, we in the ministry have tried to see how we can redesign our focus to ensure that where it seems to be a clash, rather than having it to be clash, we try to see how we can align so as to see how that we can have a common goal.
The educational sector in Nigeria has been fraught with numerous challenges, ranging from inadequate funding and infrastructure, low-quality teaching, insufficient teachers, non-implementation of policies, population, and the widening educational gap between the urban and rural areas. The effect of these challenges has brought more damages to the Nigerian educational sector, a development which has equally made Nigerians to seek for alternatives outside the country.
Learning poverty is a function of many factors. Prominent among these are the quality of school governance, teacher quality, availability of essential teaching and learning materials, and the learning environment. This challenge must be addressed with the urgency that it deserves. Otherwise, our educational system will be turning out dysfunctional citizens who are neither useful to themselves nor to their communities, let alone to the country.
According to a report from the Central Bank of Nigeria, in the first half of 2023, Nigerians aspiring to secure admission to foreign universities spent $340.8 million on application fees. This information raises significant concerns about the state of the country's education sector. The figure marked a notable decline of 44.28% when compared to previous quarter. Respondents expressed concern on the implication of this and its impact on the economy.
Nigeria's education sector has gone very, very low, to the extent that we now have this slogan, Japa Syndrome, where Nigerians have the right pleasure of traveling outside the country to attain better education. So the problem is fundamental. The problem being experienced in our educational sector is fundamental. Take a look at the education curriculum in Nigeria, for instance. You see that most things we study here are not intended that after graduating you will contribute better to the society. Rather, we place emphasis on a certificate, but that's not what is obtainable out there. So, if we want to get it right, we must go back to the drawing board and ensure that we come up with policies, we come up with programs that will put the educational sector on a better pedestal.
I don't want to say has completely collapsed. It is not as it used to be in the past, like in the 60s, in the 70s, or in the 80s. Let me say in the 80s, it has completely changed. Not for good anyway. Not for good. So what do you say? The policy is not favoring the public schools, and majority have removed their children to private schools where they can get better education and better attention. The school policy does not favor the tutors, the teachers. They are not well paid.
They emphasize the need for a review, if not total overhauling, of the educational policies in Nigeria.
We need more funding. Funding is paramount. Where funding is lacking, I'm not sure we can achieve it. So funding is the first step. Then secondly, we have to go back to the drawing board, like I said earlier, to map out strategies. If you like, call it educational reform. Let's organize a stakeholder summit on education, where critical stakeholders in the education sector will come together and put ideas together, cross-fertilize ideas to see how we can move the sector forward. Because last, now we.
What the government should do is to overhaul the educational system in the country. The government should look into it. Overhaul it. They know where the problem is. They should look into it instead of just remunerating the politicians. If you educate a child, you educate thousands. Because the child will come back to the society, or whatever he has gotten, he gives back to the society.
No doubt, education is the bedrock of socio-economic growth and development in any society. It is expected that the Nigerian government will focus more on the sector for the benefit of all and sundry. Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.